Hey, what is going on, guys? DK back at you with another video here to bring the 5-game NBA Summer League main slate on Monday. Before I get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, welcome. My name is DK. I make daily videos and live stream for NBA and NFL slates on Draftkings, covering Summer League basketball, covering NFL preseason, also making videos for PGA Day of Fantasy Sports and NBA Top Shot. If you're unable to watch my YouTube videos, I also upload an Apple Podcast. I'll have a link down below. It's called the DKDFS Show. If you have a second to, take a minute or two out of your day, leave a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. That would really help me out. Every single rating review boosts me up in those podcast rankings. Now, if you're interested in signing up for premium content, I think now is a pretty good time. Summer League, preseason, I will be covering both. So with the NBA package, again, it includes Summer League, and there is definitely an edge here. Definitely an edge because lack of information out there, one. Number two, there's just no fantasy sites covering this. So, yeah, there is, again, pretty big edge here with the Summer League. Also, I offer an NFL package that includes preseason. We had a really solid first day of preseason. We have a big weekend of NFL preseason starting Thursday through Sunday, combined with Summer League. I'm probably not going to sleep for those days, but yeah, for that package, and then an esports package includes Call of Duty and CSGO, and a gold package, a combination of everything. Now, I do want to thank Prize Picks for sponsoring this episode. So, if this is your first time checking out my channel, or maybe you're just not familiar with Prize Picks, there are two different ways you can play. First way is Prize Picks will post players and their fantasy scores, and either they take the over or the under. Now, they have Summer League contest, which is really nice. We'll go over my picks from yesterday. It went really well, but they have a ton of players posted, which is great to see. And they'll probably post some single stat, I would say, tomorrow. Now, single stat, you can take over or under straight up, like points, assists, rebounds. So keep an eye on for that. I would expect that to be up later or early tomorrow, I guess. So the board today is a little bit more tight. There's not as many standout plays as yesterday, but there's a couple I want to talk about. So first one here is Desmond Bane over 23.5. Now, he's going to run the point guard for Memphis, and we've seen actually a couple, kind of pre-Summer League games. They had like a Summer League in Utah, Summer League in, I think, L.A., and Desmond Bane, the couple games he played in, he was dominant. I mean, he's going to stuff the stat sheet. He's going to handle the ball a ton. So I like going over 23.5 there on Desmond Bane. And there's one more I like going over as well, and that's going to be Jordan Nwora at 25.1. Now, if you guys played Olympic basketball, Nwora is talented, right? He took over for Nigeria a couple games. Even when Milwaukee was super shorthanded in the regular season, we saw some big games from Nwora. So I like going over on that one as well. But yeah, if you guys want to try it out, you can sign up, use my code DKDFS. DKDFS, all one word. I'll have a link down below. You will get a 100% match up to $100. So you deposit using my code $100, you'll get a free $100 to play with. And finally, I just want to thank you guys for all of your support today. It's been a crazy day. Again, we'll go over stuff here in a second. But if you do enjoy this content, you could leave a like button on the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't upload videos and you don't live. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do YouTube live streams, not because I don't want to. It's literally just because a time thing. I didn't have time. Like, all day long, I was hawking Twitter and, searching for news and posting updates on Patreon and responding to people on Patreon, responding to people on Discord. So, again, it's not that I don't want to do a YouTube live stream. It's literally that I literally don't have the time. Like, I forgot to eat today. I literally did not eat until just now. So, yeah, one of those days where I was on my phone all day long on Twitter. Probably going to be like a 2 or 3 a cup of coffee day tomorrow. But, yeah, so no YouTube live stream, but I'll be doing the Patreon live stream every single day. So, again, if that's something you guys are interested in, Patreon live stream every single day before lock, going over everything, answer any questions you guys have. All right, so before we talk about players and the prices for this 5-game slate, let's go over some stuff from today. So we had a really good day of Summer League, day one. I want to shout out a couple people. First, Matt in the Discord just had an awesome day. Took down the early slate and the late slate. So congrats. Also his birthday. Happy birthday. So what, $20 and $800 and $20 into $778. Now the funny thing is this late slate lineup, I had that exact same lineup, except at the end, I actually swapped Jalen Smith for Cheatham to get a little bit different Didn't work out. I still cashed, but could have been a takedown there. So congrats, Matt, on the massive, massive day. A couple other ones to go over here. Anthony with a big day, turning $165 into $964. Also, prize picks. We'll go over those in a sec. DJ coming in second place in the NBA Slam, winning $1,500. And then how about first place in the NBA Slam, Daniel King? Congrats. So top two finishes in the NBA Slam. Always love to see that. We had, again, another late slate takedown. This was the lineup that took it down. Again, I had this exact same lineup. However, I ended up swapping Smith for Cheatham to get different. Didn't work out, but still was a solid night there. And then going over some prize picks. So these are the ones I talked about in the video. Peyton Pritchard over, Langford over, LiAngelo Ball over, Moutier over, Okoro over. Those all hit. Naismith over, he missed it by like 1 point. That was so tilting. And then I gave one more in the Discord, Luka Garza under. So that was what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 6 of 7 I was on prize picks. Definitely not bad. Again, if you guys want to try it out, make sure to use my code below. And then going over my main slate lineup. So it was a decent day for me, cashing all tournaments. Nothing crazy. This is in the $33. So we'll go over my lineup really quick. Caleb Agada, Okoro, Beasley, Cheatham, Fareed, Strauss, Bull, and Kakak. So Patreon members probably got annoyed for me because I think posted 10 to 15 times about leave spots open for Denver. Leave spots open for Denver. They're going to have a short rotation, 8-man rotation. You're going to want at least 2, probably 3 guys. And my favorite 3 were Caleb Agada, 50% on this one, but the lower stakes stuff, he was only like 30% owned. Cheatham had a decent day, nothing crazy, and then Bull started really slow but picked it up there in the second half. Now, the reason I was so high in Denver, kind of 8-man rotation. Now, can we talk about how, I thought we were getting trolled. I saw Zeke Najee check in. I saw Yurt 7 check in. I'm like, what is going on here? Our beat writers just trolling us. It ended up being an error that actually wasn't true. Najee didn't play. Yurt 7 didn't play. It was just an error on the ESPN app. But I couldn't believe my eyes at first. Like, we are really getting trolled that much. But going over the rest of my app, so the one kind of disappointment here, a little bit tilted by the Isaac Okoro. Now, do I regret the play? No. If you watch that game, he was handling the ball. He was, their top option on offense. Kind of had a subpar shooting game. The minutes are really spread out there in Cleveland. So, again, he was one kind of let down. Michael Beasley was a core play for me. Surprised at his ownership. Now, we didn't get starters before lock for that, but I talked about it with the veterans like him and Kenneth Fareed. I ended up playing both. We didn't get starting odds before lock, but I said, I was like, why would they bring these veterans on the team if they're not going to play them? So, yeah, went with Beasley and Fareed. Both are really solid for value. Max Strauss, okay, so you get 10 fouls in the Summer League. He almost fouled out. He had 9 fouls. I was watching that. He had 9 fouls, like 6 minutes left. I'm like, is he really going to foul out for me? Then again, Bull started off really slow, and Devontae Kakak was really solid there. Kakak, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. 35 fantasy points, only 40% owned. Again, so on Patreon, I was hammering home Denver, Agada, Bull, Cheatham, other core plays, Beasley, Okoro was a little bit of a letdown, and Devontae Kakak. But all in all, guys, again, really, really good night. And now let's talk about this 5-game slate. So I'm going to exit out of this stuff here, and let's talk about it. We'll start off with the Charlotte side. So Charlotte's kind of nice. We just saw them play today. So we'll start with Bouknight, the rookie at James Bouknight. I believe that's how that's pronounced his name. Sorry, you guys can tell. It's been a long day for me. Yeah, he played 27 minutes, was decent, 19 points, 4 boards, 1 assist, 2 blocks. Now, the issue is he's a little bit reliant in the scoring. I don't know if I want to use one of my spend-ups on him. Now, Vernon Carey, Kai Jones, I thought they would start both together. They didn't. Kai Jones ended up picking up the start. He played a lot more, too. He played 26, whereas Vernon Carey only played 18. So, of those two, I think you got to lean towards Kai Jones. Now, a couple of value plays I want to talk about. Grant Riller and LiAngelo Ball. So Grant Riller started, had a decent game, nothing crazy, 24 minutes, 7 points, 6 assists, 5 boards. Again, he's the guy that can stuff his stat sheet. It is pretty cheap at 4.4K. So I like Riller for value, and I have a little bit of interest in LiAngelo Ball as well. Only played 60 minutes, but was really good, 16, 2, and 2. So those two guys, I have some interest in for value. Probably a lean to Riller because the minutes, if we get similar minutes as last time. Now let's move on to the Sacramento Kings. So, Sacramento Kings, We have Metu, who recently joined the roster, and I want to keep an eye on this. He didn't play in those couple warm-up games for Sacramento, so that is something again to monitor. He did play for Nigeria's Olympic team, so if he's available to play, I think he's a really good play at that price, assuming he starts. He's the guy that can kind of do it all. Davion Mitchell, their rookie, has been solid, but 8.6K feels a little bit too pricey. Now, there's a couple value guys I want to talk about here. One being Lewis King. So he started both of the Sacramento Kings kind of pre-Summer League games. He's a flat min price. He's a solid point per minute guy. I do like some Lewis King. Another value play I want to mention here is Emmanuel Terry. So 4.4K, he's also started both games and has been really good in both those games, averaging about 25 minutes, good rebounder, can get some putbacks. So I like Terry and Lewis King. Now, my one worry here is if Metu is playing and he starts, that probably bumps one of those guys to the bench. Whoever gets bumped to the bench of Lewis King and Terry would be a downgrade for me. So that's something, again, to monitor going into tomorrow. Let's move on to San Antonio. So San Antonio Spurs, probably one of the worst teams in the Summer League that we said. We also saw them in the kind of the pre-Summer League game. So Vassell's at the top at 7.7K. He is going to be their go-to guy, but I don't know if I want to go to him as one of my spend-ups. So yeah, one other guy I mentioned here is Scala BCA at 4.6K. He started one game, came off the bench a couple games. He's a guy that can block some shots, get some steals. Again, they have him listed as out. Don't worry about that. One other thing is that's an edge too, right? Draftkings having listing players is out. People avoid him because of it. One of those guys is Carson Edwards, and I made a post about it on Patreon. I was like, hey, they have Carson Edwards listed as out. He is in. He's going to be low on. He was 5% Carson Edwards, and he absolutely smashed. We saw, again, Beasley. They had him listed as out. I think that's why they lowered the ownership. So don't be scared about this with Scala BCA. He is going to be in, and if he picks up the start, I think he's the one value play to look to on the San Antonio side. Now, moving on to Minnesota. So, Jaden McDaniels at 7.2K is one of my favorite spend-ups. Really, really do like him. Joseph Blair and Timberwolves plan for Jaden McDaniels in Summer League. We want to let him loose. Now, I've read some stuff like they are going to let Jaden McDaniels run the show. We saw him with the Timberwolves in the regular season, a guy that can kind of stuff the stat sheet, and now he's going to be their top option on offense. Kind of a weaker roster here for Minnesota, so I really like McDaniels. Jalen Noel, I think, is a solid play there at 6.9K, and one value guy I like, assuming he starts, is Nathan Knight. Now, I'm sure some of you guys are familiar with Nathan Knight. He was on the Atlanta Hawks, and he got a little bit of run when the Hawks were thin up front. He's another good point per minute guy, and if he starts at 4.9, I like him for value. Moving on to the Orlando Magic. So, this Orlando Magic team is pretty loaded. The issue here is that they have a lot of good players. This is going to be my same breakdown as the Detroit Pistons. They have too many good players. Rookie, Jalen Suggs. They have Cole Anthony, Franz Wagner, RJ Hampton, Brosdegas is a talented scorer. These guys are, they're too talented for me to get excited about these Magic guys. I think they're going to kind of spread it out. So I might pass on the Magic guys. Like RJ Hampton is probably the guy I would look to because he is the cheapest of the bunch at 7.1K. Obviously a good scorer, kind of do-it-all guy. And then if John Teskey starts at the 5, I do kind of like him. Very familiar with John Teskey because he played at Michigan. He's a good rebounder, can block some shots at 4.8K. A little bit of interest in him if he picks up the start. All right, moving on to Golden State. So another team that we saw a couple kind of pre-Summer League games. So rookies Kuminga and Moses Moody at 8.8 and 6.7K are both viable, I guess, but I don't love either. The guy that stands out to me is Gary Payton at 4.9K. Now, Gary Payton is a good defender. He can stuff a stat sheet. We saw him on the roster for Golden State when they were kind of thin, had some injuries. So I really like Gary Payton here for value. Another guy that if he ends up picking to start, Salome Mogape, I think is viable. He started the first couple games in the kind of the pre-Summer League game, so a little bit of interest in him. All right, 2 games left, guys, Clippers and Bucks. So the LA Clippers are they have some option or some guys you're probably familiar with: Amir Coffey, Daniel Otoro. I like Otoro here at 6.4K. Talented scorer, good rebounder. I think he picks up a start and plays some decent minutes. Jay Scrubb is actually a viable play as well at 5.8K. Now, A couple other guys I want to talk about here. Keon Johnson was their 21st overall pick. I think he's going to get a good amount of minutes. Again, he's only 5.1K. And then Isaiah Hicks, if he starts. Now, he actually played overseas. He played, I think it was in China. But he led the team in points, rebounds, and assists. I know him from North Carolina. He's again good point per minute guy. So if he does start, I do like some Isaiah Hicks as a lower owned play, I think. All right, moving on to Milwaukee. So Jordan Nwora, one of the guys I think is going to dominate usage here at 7.3K. Definitely one of my favorite spend ups. Again, when the Bucks were thin and they rest a lot of guys, Nwora had some big games. We saw it with the Nigeria team. I do really like Nwora. Diakate is a big that can stuff a stat sheet. I think he looks pretty decent there. They have him listed as small forward, power forward. He's a guy that will play a lot at the 4, a lot at the 5. And then I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, but I'm just going to call him Mam. So he's another rookie, was the 54th overall pick, big man, averaged 17-1 at Seton Hall. I'm assuming he's going to start and play some solid minutes, so I do have some interest there in S-Mam. All right, so let's finish up with Phoenix and Utah. So Phoenix, like Charlotte, we saw the game tonight, so we're a little bit familiar with kind of what rotation is going to be like. Now, the one guy that played big minutes was Jalen Smith. He went for 15 points, 12 rebounds, 1 assist. I will say, there were times watching the games, I watched a majority of that game, where he kind of stood in the corner a lot. Now, he's 7.9K. He is small forward, power forward eligible, which is nice. He can block some shots. I think he's still a safer play because minutes, right? We saw 30 minutes, which is actually really good in the Summer League. So Smith, I have a little bit of interest in. And then literally the other Jalen Smith. I'm not kidding. There are 2 Jalen Smiths. The other Jalen Smith played 24 minutes, the second most on the team. Went for 13 points, 3 assists, 1 rebound. Nothing crazy, but he saw, again, decent minutes. Is only 4.7K, a little bit of interest there. All right, finally, the Utah Jazz. So let's see. Do I have – oh, never mind. So they actually also played a couple pre-Summer League games. Now they had 2 teams, Utah White, Utah Blue. Utah White was kind of their their main team. So Udoka Azubuike is a big that is great rebounder, can block some shots. He's been playing mid-20s minutes kind of in the warm-up games. I really like him as a spend-up. I think he's very, very safe. But there's a couple other guys I want to talk about here. One being Brantley. Jarrell Brantley, only 4.9K. Now, he's also been playing mid-20s minutes. He is a talented scorer, good rebounder. I think he is too cheap. And then finally, Trent Forrest. He's been running the show. He had 13 assists one game for them. He's only 6.5K. So those are 3 guys I like here for Utah. Brantley on the cheap end, Forrest, Azubuike. And one other guy I mentioned is Dakota Mathias, also making some solid run. However, he's a little bit more aligned in the scoring. But he's super, super cheap, and I expect 20 to 25 minutes from him. So that's going to do it for the video today, guys. If you have been enjoying the content so far, I would really appreciate if you leave a like button on the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload videos and you know when I go live. Thanks again, guys. Have a great day, and I will see you all in the next video.